Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's do a in-depth review of Sasayaki, or Whisper as she is known in Global. And earlier I did make an overview video of the Sasayaki and Kiton banner. In there, that's kind of like a basic overview, so I talk about skills and subjobs and things. But in this video I'm going to focus more on builds, and then like roles that she can play, ways to use her. And to be honest, when I first got her, and I was using her like the first 2-3 weeks, I was underwhelmed. And I think that her very low ranking on JP tier lists is because people try her out and then give up on her without really learning her and then figuring out how she's good, how to use her. And then I checked Japanese YouTubers to see like their thoughts on Sasayaki. And then there were a lot of videos about her 3 months ago when she first came out. But then since then, like zero. And then there was one maybe a week ago where they kind of revisited her, but the conclusion that that YouTuber drew was she's still crappy. So I might be the #1 expert on Sasayaki, so I'll try to put out some knowledge. But yeah, I was at first kind of underwhelmed by her, but I had faith in the designers. Like, I knew that they wouldn't design a character to be crappy on purpose. So I tried to find like the strength of the character as the designers tried to make. And now I love her, and I'll use her for almost any tanking. Most people, when they talk about her, they talk about her as a magic tank. But if we look at her resistances, we can see that she has 30 across the board. So if you build her right, you can make her a good physical tank as well. And yeah, the reason why I haven't been using Engelbert for a few months is because I've been using Sasayaki for everything instead. Oh, and I should say that I did get her level to 99 this morning. Finally got her HP over 2000, which is amazing for her. But I do want to point out these 346 HP points. These are from the statues in the guild. So it's important to join a guild where everybody's working on getting those statue levels up. But let's go to the ability set. I'm going to take off this attack up, and I'm going to put this resistance up. So now if we look at her resistances, 40% to magic, and then a little bit of positive to the light damage as well. So that's probably the reason why most people talk about her as a magic tank, but again, you can build her for whatever you like. And then in a way, damage mitigation is kind of the strongest ability in the game. Because if it works like Brave Exvius, it'll be the multiplier that will be applied last. So after all the buffs, after all the attack versus defense calculations, after all the slayers, whatever that final number is, the damage mitigation will just cut that by 30% or 42% or whatever it is. So I feel like if Sasayaki had high enough HP, she would be the best tank in the game against any attack type. Okay, let's look at her sub-jobs real quick. Main job is Knight, so that's lots of breaks. Those are good slash attacks, good for chaining. And then if we look at her Knight sub-job, more breaks, but the most important one here is probably Speed Break. This will make her good for raids and other things where you want to build chains, because by slowing down the boss, you get more turns to build up a chain. So this is pretty important. I used this yesterday in the two-headed dragon boss fight, just so I can enable myself to get more chains. And next she has the Mage Knight sub-job. This one is interesting in theory. She still does the dark element slash type attacks, but with magic damage. This morning, after I got her to 99, I did some testing actually. I brought her into an easy quest with a naked Engelbert and a naked Mont, and I had her attack them, just to compare the damage. And then I chose those two because they actually have similar defense stats, like mid to high 30s, and then they have similar weakness to magic stats, so like 25-30% weakness to magic. But Engelbert has the 10% weakness to dark damage, so that was a way for me to look at how much damage that adds. It came out to about 30% extra damage with that weakness to dark on Engelbert. But by far, If you build Sasayaki as a physical attacker, that will do way more damage than if you build her with a magic stat and then use these Spellblade skills. I had to go really hard raising Sasayaki's magic stat and also giving her magic Maneater before her Dark Blade could do more damage than her regular attack on her physical build. So that just goes to show how much better the physical build is. So actually, if you were to use the Spellblade subjob, and then we have that on-off capability, I would turn off Dark Blade, Bioblade, and Dark Blade. And so that might make you ask why you would want to use this job at all. The reason for that is because it comes with Attract Spell. This is our only active Provoke ability. And so if you're in a situation where you were equipping her, and you just could not manage to give her Oath of Love, then you can give her the Spellblade subjob instead, and then still get Provoke, so that she could act as a good tank. And then Magic Resist. This will raise her magic resistance, so that will make her an even better magic tank. But if you're not anticipating taking magic attacks, or if you're able to use Oath of Love, you really don't need the Spellblade subjob. And then the last subjob is Samurai, and this is probably the one that people are going to use most often. But this is good for general attacking, especially Dark Element / type attacks, and then also evade builds, which I'll talk about later. And then in thinking how to use Sasayaki, I would say definitely use her as a tank first and an attacker second, or not even as an attacker at all. I would not use her as an attacker first and foremost. If you need a dark / attacker, use Gafgarion or Shadowlynx. They'll do much more damage. But now that we've established that we want to use her as a tank, it's important with her to know what kind of attacks she's going to go up against, so that you can equip her with like armor, accessories, vision cards, and espers, so that she matches the attacks that she's going to take. And then maybe there are three kind of categories you could think about how to buff her up. One is to raise her stats a lot, so HP, defense, spirit. Or you can go with an evade build, just try to get that evade up as high as possible. Or you could go for a resistance build, and then try to build off of these 30%, 40% here. Or of course you can go for like a kind of all-around combination build. I'll talk about that last. But first, let's talk about her stat build. So let's try to give her equipment that will get her the highest HP, defense, and spirit. And then I was thinking about like leaving out UR or MR Trustmasters or like future JP equipment, but probably people will be interested in planning ahead, so I'll go ahead and use that stuff. But for HP, we could use the Mithril Armor, the Vital type. That will give us 437 here. And then this will also give us 3 defense, which is not very good. So we could give her Mons Trustmaster. This will give her both defense and spirit 8. That's pretty good. And then for weapon, you could give her whatever. You could just give her the strongest attack weapon, so we'll give her this Assault Nagnarok. And then maybe Golem, this might be a good Esper for her. This will raise HP a lot. And then if we look at the board, we can see that there are panels to raise defense. So yeah, that's nice there. And then for the card, let's give her the Oath of Love. That will raise her / attack, and then also raise the party's just overall attack, so we can do that. Alright, so let's check her stats here. Defense of 24, that's about 10 less than Mont or Engelbert. Spirit of 16, that's decent. HP almost 3000, very nice. And then let's look at her resistances. Same as before, but a little bit more of strike resistance. So yeah, that might be a good sort of basic stat-based build. Sub-job, let's say we give her the Spellblade sub-job, so that she has that active provoke skill. We can give her a different card. We could give her Golem for more HP. Let's see how much that is. Oh, 3,000, very nice. Or we could give her this one here, Break Time. That's a little bit more HP. Okay, 30, 35. Or we could go for Iron Giant. This will raise both of her slash resistance, also her slash attack, and then no negative on her HP. So she's still hovering around 3,000, but with the 40% slash resistance. And yeah, slash resistance. This is still the best in the game right now, because there's a lot of strong slash characters out there, including Orlando. But yeah, to lower Orlando's attacks by 44%. That sounds pretty good. Okay, next, let's build Sasayaki for Evade. And then if we do that, we want the Samurai sub-job, because that has a self-buff for added Evade. And then there's a few ways we could go at this. I could give her Dodge, Mithril Armor. This will give her Evade 18. That's pretty crazy. But when you want to build for Evade, you want to get that sub bonus as well. And then one of the best ways to get that sub bonus is the Sage's Hat. That will give you the main Evade here, and then a bonus Evade down here if you make it +2, +3. But Sasayaki can't use hats, so we need to get that bonus Evade somewhere else. So let's go to Weapon. Let's equip the Brave Ring +5. This will give us additional Evade +6, so let's equip that. And then now we have no weapons, actually. So if we wanted to build her totally as a tank, we could use an armor and then 2 accessories, and that would be fine. But let's say we do want to go for attack still a little bit. I can use my single sword Trustmaster, Gafgarion's Trustmaster, give her the 122 attack. And then if I wanted more evade, I could use any of these espers that have evade on their boards, like Iron Giant is one of them, Two-Headed Dragon is another, but Tetrasylphid, she is the best as far as evade, so let's give that to her. And then here, for the Vision card, we could give her Shiva, but this will raise the evade of your entire party. So I could give that to another character instead. And then that will free up Sasayaki to use Oath of Love, which might be the best idea here, since we want to use the Samurai sub-job, but then we can't use the Spellblade sub-job. And then maybe here on Mont, if we wanted to go really overboard, we could use this one here. This will raise the luck of my party, get a little bit more evade there as well. And actually, let's bring this team to a story quest, and then let's check her evade. Let's see how high that got. Again, these are naked Engelberts and Monts, so they don't have a ton of accuracy. But let's just see how hard she is to hit. Okay, let's just sit there. Here comes Mont. Actually, let's wait on Mont, since Engelbert's in the way. Alright, Engelbert. 65% to hit from the front, that's pretty crazy. 80% to hit from back, or the side rather. And then 99% to hit from the back. Okay. Okay, next, let's use her self-evade buff. Let's see how that changes. Okay, Engelbert again. 44 from the front. 59 from the side. And 78 from the back. That's pretty good, especially considering that even if you can manage to hit her, she's got those crazy resistances. Okay, so that was that. All of these builds are going to be reliant on what you have in your box, so see what you got, see what you can get, and then just mess around, see how you can do the best build for you. Another build I could do, evade build, would be to give Sasayaki the Metal Slayer. That'll give her 10 evade. So yeah, if it's just like a situation where, you know, maybe I don't have the mithril armor, I can use the Metal Slayer instead. And then to get that bonus evade, again, I can use the Brave Ring +5. And then that'll free up my Trustmaster to use whatever I like. So yeah, if there's a Trustmaster that I need to use more than the Dodge Mithril Armor, I can do that this way instead. And actually, this will give me a chance to talk about her Trustmaster. This is an accessory. It'll give you an additional 5 resistance to all attack types. So we can equip that. And then I did test the Trustmaster finally. What it does is that it takes away some HP from you, and then it gives you defense and spirit way up for 1 turn. So it's kind of like a sentinel, which you can put on anybody, which is pretty powerful. The problem is that it takes away 25% of your HP, your max HP. And that's at level 11, as we can see. I think if you raise the level of the Trustmaster, that percentage of HP that you lose will be lowered. But still, that's a lot of HP to take away from a tank, so maybe I would not recommend using the skill. But certainly use the Trustmaster, since the +5 resistance everywhere is really, really good. Okay, finally, let's talk about a resistance build for her. So let's equip all this. Okay, so let's try to build her with as much magic resistance as possible. The best way to get this in the future is the Armor of Light. This will be like a craftable item that will be coming around with the Final Fantasy I raid. So keep an eye out for that. But 12 spirit, which is very nice, plus an additional 8 resistance to magic. So let's equip that. And then let's equip her Trustmaster, another 5 magic resistance there. And then last slot we can do anything we like. I don't think I have anything else that gives magic resistance, so we'll just give her Excalibur for attack. Okay, and then more magic resistance. Oh, let's give her Marlborough. That has magic resistance. Yeah. So check the board here. Yeah, these guys here, these are magic resistance. And then also ice resistance over here, so that could make her good for Mediana. Okay, and then the card. Let's see if any of these have magic resistance. Okay, so I guess there is no magic resistance card out yet. So you could put whatever else in there that you want. You can give an elemental resistance or something. So we'll just leave that blank, actually. And then let's check her magic resistance now. 65, that's pretty great. Next, let's build her for slash resistance. And let's see, the gold armor, that will give you that. Also the iron plate. Iron plate might be more attractive for more people just because it's easier to get, easier to build. But the gold armor, just by virtue of being an MR, will have a higher bonus slash resistance. But yeah, I don't have either of them built up for now, but we'll just put on the gold armor for now. And then slash resistance, Iron Giant, he's one of the guys that has that. A lot of Espers have slash resistance, actually. And then I guess we could do Iron Giant again here, more slash resistance. And let's see how high that gets. Okay, almost 60%, that's great. Alright, finally, let's do kind of just an all-around build. Or maybe like the build that I use most often. I think I like Armor of Light. It has nice HP, even if you're taking physical attacks, that can be helpful there. And then we're in the middle of the magic meta anyway, with the guild battle map and the arena map, so that's nice to have. And then for sword, I do want her to have a sword to help me with attacks. I usually go for Excalibur, or the Assault Nagnarok will work too. Yeah, we can use that. That has bonus slash attack. And then for Trustmaster, this depends, you know. I can actually give her an SR Trustmaster because this will give me ice resistance. And so if I know I'm going up against a certain type of attack, I could use that. This also gives me nice defense, 11. I think that's higher than the armor that I have, so that'll be nice. And accuracy as well. But yeah, sure, let's give her the Dragon Boots. That's from Socia. But yeah, take another look at those SR Trustmasters. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And then here, I usually go for Golem. If I want Evade, I could go for a Tetrasilphid instead. Although again, for the magic resistance, Marlborough could be good, but we'll go for Golem here. And then for Vision card, you usually want to go for the Vow of Love. And then for the sub-job, I want to go with Samurai. So yeah, this is kind of like my everyday Sasayaki build. So HP of 2800, almost 29, that's good. Attack of 500, not great, but I've said this before in other videos, but there have been a bunch of PvP battles I've been in where Sasayaki is my last character standing. And then especially with her Samurai sub-job, she can use Hien, get some nice attacks on guys from distance, so it's pretty nice. And then here both defense and spirit are over 20, that's really good. And then resistances, we got 30 across the board, except for magic, which is 50. And then some lightning and ice resistance, so yeah, she's pretty awesome. And you might have seen in my previous video where I take on the two-headed dragon, but yeah, Sasayaki just kind of shut him down. Like she didn't even notice that two-headed dragon was there, taking hits like a champ. But yeah, I think that is my follow-up in-depth look at Sasayaki. She does take some work, she does take some building, and she does take some thought. But if you can invest all of that into her, you'll have a very, very usable character for a long time. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.